Hello, my starshines. I hope everyone is having a lovely day, night, whatever, wherever you are in the world. We are back at it again with another video. Now, I mentioned in my last video that I had a piece I was working on that I was really excited about, and this is it. It is my beautiful depiction of the goddess Persephone, who is the goddess of spring, harvest, and queen of the underworld, and the wife to the god Hades. Now, of course, with a piece like this, I'm going to be giving you guys some lore. I am just going to stick with the most common version that I've heard kind of over and over in most cases about how she became the queen of the underworld, and which is how I kind of depicted her in this illustration. Now, firstly, her name, Persephone, it means bringer of destruction, was not actually what she was called at first, though frankly, I wasn't really able to find when she had that true name change. But her original name was Kor, meaning maiden or daughter. She was indeed the daughter of Demeter, and in some versions, Demeter and Zeus, but we digress. Demeter was known as the goddess of harvest and was fiercely protective over Persephone, and kept her isolated in a sense, keeping away any type of male advances, god and mortal alike. That is, until Hades one day saw Persephone picking flowers in a field and essentially fell in love at first sight. He did approach Demeter asking for Persephone's hand, but she became furious and outright refusing, which, if you know Demeter, that sounds, the shoe fits. Well, seeing as Hades is the brother of Zeus, ruler of the gods, he went to him asking for advice, or, kind of just to vent, again, depends on the version. Zeus said he would allow Persephone to marry Hades, seeing as he was a ruler and had that power, but knowing Demeter would never agree to it, they put together kind of a plan to steal Persephone away from her. So, one day, Persephone was out picking flowers, and she was kind of led away by a beautiful trail of unusual flowers, kind of wandering away further than she normally goes. And then once she was secluded, the ground cracked open and Hades rushed out in his chariot, scooping her up and taking her back down to the underworld. Now at first, Persephone was obviously enraged by being kidnapped, but as Hades explains that he had fallen in love with her at first sight and he wanted to meet her and marry her, making her queen, but Demeter had forbade it. Though no one knows for sure how the whole process went, in the end Persephone agreed, and Hades is nothing less than a devoted husband and extremely loyal to her. Like, out of all the gods, except for maybe Hephaestus, Hades, 10 out of 10 husband material, y'all, just saying. Now, while all this was going on though, Demeter was in a panic for her missing daughter. No one would tell her anything, no one knew anything. She was just searching the ends of the verse, trying to find what happened to her daughter, where was Persephone? That is, until she asked Helios, the sun god who sees all, and who was more than happy to oblige in recounting the events of Hades coming up from the earth and stealing Persephone away. Obviously, Demeter, enraged by this, confronted Zeus, demanding her daughter back. But Zeus, being Zeus, was like, no, that's fine. Hades has married Persephone, everything's good. You don't need it. Quit being so worrisome. Again, with no resolution, she began searching again for a way to get to her daughter. But in this time, she also stopped doing her godly duties, and the world went into drought, and crops and other plants began to die out. Seeing as Zeus couldn't have the world starving and dying out, he finally relented and sent Hermes to retrieve Persephone from Hades. Obviously at this point, Persephone is not as keen to leave, as she's queen of the underworld with a very devoted husband and she's got all kinds of power, though she does miss her mother. But in the end, they did agree, as once they found out what was actually going on above the ground. But as they're getting ready to go, Hades gave her some pomegranate seeds, and upon eating them, she became bound to the underworld for a month for every seed she had ate. And in most versions or iterations, they're stating about 3 for the winter months. Obviously, this did not please Demeter in the least, but she had her daughter back. But now in those months where Persephone must return to the underworld, Demeter let everything go dormant or die, thus creating the seasons. And that's pretty much our story, guys. It's not a lot, it's a little bit. There are so many versions of the story. I love the myths that go around Persephone and Hades, and I like Greek mythology so very much. And as stated before, like I said, again, so many versions, and I try to give the account of the one I've heard the most and simplify it, because I don't do very, very long videos, or I try not to, because bees in my brain and writing scripts is hard. I will though say, if you're looking for a more modern, a comic version of it that doesn't really stay true to the story, but it's fun to read and it's amazing illustrations. I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, go check out Lore Olympus. It's amazing. It is on a webcomic, or webtoon, is that what it's called? I'm sorry. Go check them out. I highly recommend. I know they just published actually 1 volume, and I think they are possibly going to be getting a Netflix adaptation to it. It's awesome. I highly recommend. If you like Greek mythology, it just has so many little tropes and everything in there. It's great. I love it. Or if you're looking for a slightly spicy, it's an older novel, guys. It's one of the things where you find it, and this creator or this novelist, she had created other novels too, which is what had started me. The first one I read was about to do with the Minotaur, and I found out that they had this one, and I have like all the versions of Greek mythology ones that she wrote. So if you're looking for like a spicy novel, but it's an older book, look into Dazzling Brightness by Roberta Gellis, and I will put that in the description below, how to spell her last name. When I bought it, unless you do like an audiobook or a digital one, I like having books, and I had to order like a secondhand book. Like, they don't make them anymore kind of thing. But I just love Greek mythology, so it's like one of the things, whenever I see a story version, as long as it's not too corny, I guess, I am all about it. Like, let's go. I want this. I'm gonna read this kind of thing. Even though it doesn't go straight with historic text or anything, but there's pieces in there, But anyways, before the bees fully take over, I hope you guys enjoyed this lore fest over here and my illustration. Like I said, I was so proud of this illustration. After a while being burnt out, guys, I'm really happy with this piece. If anyone would ever be interested in any prints or anything, let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this content and want to see more, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And I would greatly appreciate, if you left a comment, letting me know what your favorite mythological tale is. It doesn't have to be Greek, it can be whatever. Hey, you may give me a new idea for another illustration. Just, again, put it down below. I checked my comments, I promise. But anyways, that's all for now. Keep shining bright, my star shines, and I'll see you next time. Bye!